Hey everybody, happy Sunday! A sleepy little Plazz here in the beautiful woods for my Sunday Zazoo Plazz report, January 9th, 2022. Oh, I love this time of year. Oh man, it is just awesome out here. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. Why is it saying that's 41 minutes? 41 minutes. Okay, whatever. That's how much time I have, I guess, to talk. Oh, I am so excited to be out here today. It's beautiful. The woods are quiet. I set up my little tripod here. I got the snow to keep it steady. I got my light down there. Oh man, it's awesome. It's quiet, no sound. I hear some cars off in that direction, but it's totally quiet. Wow. So, this is my favorite time of year. All the ponds frozen. It's very still. I can explore places in the winter. And so can you, that you can't in the rest of the year. Places that are normally off limits, I can go, and I won't be met with opposition. An interesting metaphor for me, because I'm thinking, I just discovered today, okay, here's the thing. My son's girlfriend is over. They were hanging out, and everybody had waffles, and I was kind of doing my thing, working out. I was talking to them, and interesting perspectives that I get from the younger generation. My son, who's 18, his girlfriend's 18. They're on break from school. They're going back in a couple weeks. I get some interesting perspectives from them, because she loves animals, and he has been after me because they have a cat, a stray black cat, and he wants me to adopt it. Of course, cats won't be adopted, right? Will they? No. So that got me thinking. She was talking about cats and how sweet this one is, and it's black, and it kind of reminded me at this point about our cat. We had, well, of course there's a story. My husband and I, before we had the kids, around 1999, a couple of stray cats followed us home from the land across from our house that used to be an orchard. They came and built a bunch of houses there, big houses, not like our, normal size houses. They came and built, some developer acquired the land for the orchard and built mega houses. And the poor little kitties, one day we were walking through and looking at some of the new houses, and we saw a pair of cats. They were brother and sister, and they followed us home. There's more detail to be told in this story, of course, but I'll just keep it short. So we had those cats throughout the whole time our kids were babies, and it was like a tester from the universe to see if we were ready to have kids, because like a year after the cats followed us home, we had our first son. So it was kind of strange. They were, little tuxedo cats who were they always look like they're ready to put on a show, don't they? Now here's the little girl. We called her Toonie. Isn't she cute? And she had little white booties. She was very cute, But we think that maybe she had gotten sick or something, because and it was 2004, around this time of winter, somehow she got out. She went for a little walk, and with cats, nobody knows who let her out or how she got out or anything. And we saw her in the woods. We tried to chase her home, but she wouldn't come home, you know. She was a very wild thing. She was always a wild child, kind of like myself. And the boy, who we called Pepe, stayed with us right until the very end. It was 2013 or so. 2013, somewhere around there, 2012. He got some kind of kidney thing, urinary tract infection, and he died. We have various theories on why that happened, but cats die all the time. So he died of old age. He had a little dot on his chin, always made him look like a little goatee, like he was wise. You know, maybe he was. I think most cats are wise in their own way. But Toonie, the way we found her, I was out traipsing in the woods with my oldest son, who was then about 3, and it was a sunny day. I guess she had, you know, it had gotten real mild, and then overnight it got really cold and we got snow. We found her. Warning, this is going to be a little sad for you animal lovers. We found her sunning herself on a neighbor's back porch, and we thought, oh, she's there, and then I went up and looked more closely because I didn't want my son to really have to experience that. And I couldn't even go. She was frozen solid. It just broke my heart. But my little guy, he wasn't so, maybe he was too young. But I went home and I told my husband, I said, well, we found Toonie, and he went and, brought her in. Anyway, you don't need to know the rest of it. But, I guess my son kept asking me, can we have this cat? The cat needs a place to stay, And I thought, okay, so he's planning on switching colleges. He's not even going to be around. He's probably going to take off, He's going to go study the environment at some undisclosed school. We don't know yet. It's probably not going to be where he is right now. So, okay. So I'm thinking, cat, just off the top of my head, no cat. We got the dog. The dog is, we got to deal with the dog first. And so, but today, I started thinking about my Black Moon Lilith, which is getting hit right now. Black Moon Lilith is like your inner wild, child. It's like, it's like my inner Joan Jett. Right. So, anyway, I said, why am I objecting to this cat? And I said, well, it's probably because I'm afraid of, black cat. Toonie had some white. I'm afraid of black cats. I just, when I was in high school, I wrote this ghost story about this woman who's out driving, and she leaves the highway onto a little side street, and this black cat runs across her while she's looking at the scenery, and she hits a tree, and then she gets out, and she meets this lovely old woman who was in the house, Mrs. Macabre. Get it? Mrs. Macabre. It was MCCOBE or something, but it was meant to be Macabre, MACABRE. Back in the days when I used to fling archetypes around, just for the heck of it. I was thinking about that, which, has a black cat in it. I'm like, I'm scaring myself. I'm dredging up that old story, and then the end. Well, I won't tell you the end, but it has a Sixth Sense vibe to it. Maybe I'll post it on the website for people to read. It was published in my high school literary magazine, and I remember reading that story out loud to my mom, and it was pretty good for 14 I was when I wrote it. And I said, I keep thinking black cat is gonna, it's gonna make me go off the road. That black cats creep me out unless they have some white on them, which this cat does not. And he's like, oh, he's so sweet. She's got green eyes. I'm like, yeah, but when you're not looking, she's gonna claw you in your sleep. That's the thing about cats. You can't trust them. That dog, the worst she'll do is, leave hair all over the place and eat your pizza, and, but dogs are your friends. Well, they're supposed to be your friend. My dog is more my nemesis, but she's okay. Why would I intentionally want to bring an enemy into my home? So anyway, I was thinking, so Black Moon Willet lives in my 5th house of creativity and children. And Saturn is hitting it right now. So that basically means that I need, Black Moon Willet is kind of, in Aquarius, is kind of like, I need my freedom, And in the 5th house in Aquarius, it means I need my creative freedom, right? Which is why I'm out here in the woods, leaning up against a tree in the middle of the winter, is because it's the only place, I'm fed, I'm nourished by this. It helps me channel my inner, wild child who needs to get away from everybody, get out. But I also, Aquarius is like technology in the future, and I suppose it could be futuristic. Also dealing with you people, the general public, that not particular close friends, but more like society as a whole. And that's who I imagine that I'm out here speaking to. Whoever finds Zazoo particularly interesting, informative, entertaining, you're my people. So anyway, what's this big stick doing here? Just like some kind of weird vine that's growing up. So, anyway, the song that kept coming up in my head this morning was Don Henley. The one where he goes, talk, talk, talky, talk, 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 talk. It's called Driving with Your Eyes Closed. And I thought, oh man, that's it. That's it right there. It says, the gist of the song, and it was from Building the Perfect Beast, mid-'80s, somewhere in there. Talk, talk, talky, talk. And I looked up the lyrics, and it says, I met this Frenchman, he was painting. He says, I used to paint princesses. I used to paint frogs. Now I paint mustaches on dangerous dogs. It's kind of like me. Everybody's got to have a purpose in the world. That's the song. And if you're driving with your eyes closed, so the lyrics go, you're gonna hit something eventually, right? So that's perfect. I used to work for this guy, and in the book I call him Buck Hyder. He was a financial planning guy. And I'm going to bring this up here so you can see me. And he used to say, whoa, that, he used to make it sound like he said it. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think somebody else said it. Was it Mark Twain or I'll figure out who said it. But he used to give these seminars to people to give them direction on where to invest, and actually he wanted them to invest with him and his financial instruments and his ideas. So that was, it all kind of ties together. Everyone's got to have a purpose and a plan. If you don't make a plan for yourself, somebody else is going to make a plan for you, which is Saturn. Saturn is the universe imposing a plan on you, right? I'm trying to figure out where to put this thing. Yeah, so if you, for example, if you let your kids talk you into adopting a cat, you deserve whatever that cat does to you. Right? Oh my God. I just hold it right here. Yeah. Put it on my head. Okay. I'm going to put it back on the ground here, pointing up at me, because that seemed to be the best. No, it's not working anymore. Kind of shove it up like that. Oh boy. Okay. So I'm just going to have to do it like this. Yeah. So anyway, I think, yeah, and another line in that song is, don't you know that women are the only works of art? I love that. Yeah, so what does all this have to do with the reading today, the baptism of Jesus? Well, I guess he's out there, and John the Baptist says that he's not worthy. Reminds me of Wayne's World. Worthy to fasten his sandal, and Jesus gets baptized, and then the dove comes down, and the sky opens up, and God says that this is my beloved Son, in whom my favor rests, and the Holy Spirit is, well, of course, right? Oh, it's starting to snow. Because the Holy Spirit has to do with creativity, with our divine spark in the world, our divine light. Look at that, it's starting to snow. That's cool. Yeah, so that's kind of like baptism, isn't it? I'm getting baptized out here in the woods because snow is water. Oh, this is good stuff. So basically, I have just figured out that I must be on the right track. Because there are times, when you're on the taking your own path in the world, right? Not going where others are telling you to go. Then it can get kind of cold and lonely, kind of like the beach in the middle of the winter. And you're like, is this really where I'm supposed to be? But look at John the Baptist. He had a purpose, right? His purpose was to tell everybody that Jesus is coming. His purpose was to call attention to the arrival of the light. Wow, that's huge. And of course, Jesus was the light, the word, the truth, and the life, right? He was the light. So, it all kind of relates in a way. It all kind of, I guess what I'm saying is that if you're pursuing what you feel is your purpose, if you've hit something, Saturn is that wall, Saturn is trying to tame my wild child by saying, okay, you're here, now you got to do the work, right? Whatever the work is that you're here to do, you need to do it. Even if it's standing out in the woods, talking crazy stuff about black cats and, writing books and vignettes and telling stories. Somebody somewhere is gonna see this and find it inspiring, and then go and do what their thing is. Another way, see, you're going to hit something eventually, which means that if there's something that you don't want, some hard work that you don't want to do and you've been putting off, eventually something's going to happen in life where they'll make you do it. In other words, the minute you get off the highway, and the highway being like that treadmill we're on, right? In other words, the past 2 years, we've gotten off that treadmill. And that's the universe, God, Source, Spirit, saying, okay, that's like that off-ramp, that the lady in my book there took, and tried to swerve with the cat and everything. Okay? When you're on the highway, it's like, you're going along with everybody else. You're doing what you think you're supposed to be doing, whether it's, your boss is telling you gotta, doing what you think you're supposed to do as a member of society, right? That's the problem. That's the problem. Was your mother a housewife, or a nurse, or a teacher, and you feel like you've got to be a teacher, or your dad was an accountant, or a lawyer, or a doctor, so you better be a doctor. Well, how often does that happen? And you're like, like Herbie or whatever his name was in Rudolph. He wanted to be a dentist. He didn't want to make toys. He was a misfit, right? You feel like a misfit because, you better go into business and be successful. No. But I want to work for myself. Telling stories and writing books. See? So, how many people have told me, you're gonna ruffle some feathers, you're gonna make some enemies, you better keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, do your schoolwork, and shut up. No. But I did that for a long time. What is it? Here we are in a new year. What is it that people always told you not to do? And you said, but I wanna. I don't mean things that are illegal or that hurt people. What in service to humanity is the thing where you've been shoved down, pushed down time after time? What's your purpose? Astrology helped me find out what my purpose was. And really, what it boils down to is, what do you enjoy doing in your spare time? Or most of the time? What is that thing that sometimes you feel guilty doing it because it doesn't seem like work, right? It's that thing that you do so easily. You're just like, oh, I've got 5 minutes. I'm just going to do this. And with my son, it's like, he'll pick up his guitar, or he'll draw a picture. With me, it's, I'll sit down and hammer out an email to a friend, or, that becomes a little vignette. But I do it in a way that it's a release for me. It's not a chore. It's a privilege. It's a gift. Like John the Baptist said, the one who comes after me, it's a privilege for me to baptize him. I'll play my drum for you, said the little drummer boy. It's all I have. It's not much. But Jesus smiled at him. My husband took baby Jesus in his in his little carrier back to my mother-in-law today. If you were watching last week, poor baby Jesus was shoved onto a cake, strapped onto his manger, and surrounded by toothpicks. He went home. So it really is a sense of humility when you're doing what's your purpose. If you have a sense of service and humility about it, and someone has ever tried to keep you from doing it, or told you, you're never going to make money doing that, that's the point, right? If you do it from a sense of, I'm only doing this for my power, a sense of power, a sense of dominance over other people, a sense of, I'm going to get rich and famous at this, then you won't, then that's not the right reason. And it's driving with your eyes closed, right? Talk, talky, talk, talk, talk. What do you talk about? If you could talk about anything, what would you talk about? What brings you joy? If you had one day, that's cliched, not one day left to live, but say you're you had a day off and everybody you're responsible for is not around and you get to do whatever you want, right? It's like with my dad. My mom's not around now. His whole life is his music. He pursues it like he has one day left. Because who knows, at 84, he might. Who knows how many days he has left. He's pursuing it with a focus and a passion like he never has before. It used to be something he did, on the side. He had a regular job to support us and stuff. But it's what he lives for. It is his true joy and his true purpose. So he talks music. I got on a side note. My husband was putting away the Christmas decorations and he went up. He comes, he's like, I found another box of your nostalgia. He says, he found this old box and in it are all of my lost record albums from when I was a preteen. So there's the Bee Gees and Andy Gibb, and there's my one Beatles album that my cousin gave me. My cousin, who's a baby boomer, and she didn't want it, so she gave me Revolver, which is a very cool album. And now that we have a record player, we're setting up a little record corner down in the basement where we can hang out, listen to records, and it's great. And it's given me an idea for a creativity room, and maybe set up a keyboard there and instruments. The kids were in there playing, which had been my office. They were in there doing a jigsaw puzzle and having a great time. I'm like, this should be a warm, cozy room where kids can hang out and, it could be the creativity room. I don't know. There's endless potential. So I'm starting to see things in a very different way. I think what it is was that I was doing all my writing and my Zazoo work in the dining room, which is kind of a public place, which is the creativity room. That's where, but I was doing it at night because it kind of was something that I was a little ashamed of in a way, not ashamed, but that's what Black Moon Lilith is, right? That's the thing you're kind of, you're not going to go and tell everybody about, but now I'm telling everybody about. It's kind of that thing that you're sort of, oh, I do this, but, I'm not like telling everybody about it. Well, except now I am. But yeah, I feel like if I went in my room and did it, like I used to when I was a kid, then it'd be like I was avoiding people and I was being antisocial. But really, I'm getting to the point where I need to do that. And now it's time to, because my fingers are starting to, see, it's snowing. Look at the snow. So I gotta go now. I'm gonna try to hack this next time, figure out how to get out here in the woods, figure out what happened to my lantern. Somebody took off with it. But until next week, going inside, I'm gonna warm up a little bit. But it's so pretty out here. And it's been nice talking to you. Thank you for spending time with me today in Zazoo Land. And wishing you a wonderful week. Get outside, enjoy wherever you are, enjoy the beautiful world of nature. And Here's to you. Cheers. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.